All right, here we have my 2003 Ford F-150, and today, front wheel bearings. Straight off of eBay, pretty cheap. I think this stuff was under 50 bucks. Came with the seals, came with the bearing races, and all the good stuff. I've seen, and you'll see when I pull these apart, that the outer bearing has like a nylon or Teflon material that holds the rollers in instead of these, you know, regular metal style. And for some reason that just doesn't seem like it would last very long. I don't know if the ones in here are original or not, but they're definitely not holding up. That's why I went with this standard, or what I know is standard bearing style. Everything's metal, no plastic. Good to go. All right, let's get this thing up off the ground. Let's get these wheels off. Just organized, if you want to call that organized. Reorganized my whole toolbox, so relearning where everything's at. Let's grab a zip tie to hang that up real quick. All right, now we've got this old seal out. Here's the inner bearing. It's fairly loose, but not too crazy. Definitely more play than it should have, that's for sure. Let's get this cleaned out. Then we'll try to punch out these old races. Now I'm going to try to hit the inside edge of what would be the inside bearing race. I'm going to try not to hit the inside surface of the brake rotor hub, whatever the hell you call this thing. Try to do this the least damaging way possible. Again, just work your way around. See if we got any movement. Oh yeah, she's coming out. See the edge poking out there a little bit. Let's keep going. Oh, I see the issue I'm running into now. It's bottoming out on the table. All right, let's try to do a balancing act here. Feel free to like the video if you enjoy the struggle. Obviously, I say struggle and the thing just comes flying out. There we go. This race actually doesn't look bad, but these new bearings come with races. So I'd rather use what came with it, because there's a good chance it was designed to fit the angle more properly. So we're just gonna swap them all out. And when it comes to getting new rotors, I don't know if it comes with bearing races in it, but if it does, I'd probably use those just because they're brand new like these. If it doesn't, then I get some more experience doing this type of job. All right, let's work on the outer bearing race. Now it's pretty easy to tell these bearings apart on what's inside and what's outside. Inside being towards the engine, outside being toward the lug nuts. The inside is much larger than the outside. This is the inside bearing, this is the outside bearing. Pretty easy, can't really screw that up. Also, I did get a cheap wheel bearing grease presser. This was like $13 on eBay, I think. eBay or Amazon, I don't remember. Don't hate, I've never hand packed wheel bearings. I've also never used one of these presses, but I figured this was the easy route, and if I ever need it again, I have it. So cheap, simple, I figured it was the way to go. All right, let's get this other race out of here. There you go, another one out. All right, let's go ahead and clean these surfaces up. See which one of these fits best. It's not perfect, but it catches the edge really nice, so I can't complain. Went ahead and got some of this Timken wheel bearing grease. I am going to use some to install these bearing races, and then the rest is going to go inside the bearing packer. Make sure that's sitting flat as you can get it. All right, get to hammering. All right, that's bottomed out right there. I am very satisfied with how that just went in. Yep, all the way down in there. Nice. Alright, let's work on this other one now. Looks like I did nick this a little bit on the surface where the bearing race sits. I got it with the punch slightly. It's not bad, but I don't think it's going to cause any issues just being on the other end of where the bearing race sits. So let's get this one greased up. Perfect. This bearing race driver kit is called OMT. I don't know if you can see that with the light. There you go, OMT. Got it on Amazon. It was fairly cheap. I'll link it in the bottom, down in the description. Well, that ain't supposed to happen. Stand by. That's unfortunate, I'll tell you what. Oh! Alright, so I reversed the handle here. Let's just bang on it the other way, I guess. I don't know if that's even seated all the way down. I think it's got a little more. Definitely don't want this to get stuck down in there again, though. Yeah, that one sits inside the race a little bit. I don't like that. Maybe we'll just have to do what I just did until it's all the way down. Now I know that'll come out pretty simply. Hopefully it does the same thing. coming out if it gets stuck again. I don't see it not getting stuck though. Alright, that sounded better. Alright, let's punch out the punch. Wow, it came out like a rocket, huh? Well, grease is coming out of the top of the bearing now, which I think is adequate. All right. I think that's enough grease, huh? Hopefully. If I screw this up, we won't have a daily anymore. Yep, looks like what came out of there. Again, just make sure your surfaces are all clean. You don't want anything getting in the way of this. If there's a piece of dirt or some gnarled metal, it's gonna create a gap and water will get in here. Definitely do not want that at all. I think I'm just gonna tap on the edges of that instead of using one of these drivers. Actually, I got these for a reason. Let's not be dumb now. Oh, that's too big. No, I don't like the way those are fitting. Definitely going this route instead. Ah, there we go. Use the intended tool backwards. All right, this inside portion is done. Go ahead and turn this rotor over here. Keep laying out this rag because I just don't want this side to be laying on the metal table. Just try to keep it as clean as possible. All right, get that outside bearing, squeeze some grease in there. squeezing out the top there. Probably should wait to put this bearing in. It's most likely going to come off as soon as I put it on the spindle. Alright, so we've got this all wiped down and cleaned up. Got the nut, the washer, that locking cap deal, cotter pin down here. Let's go ahead and get some grease on here, and then we'll throw the rotor hub back on. Get some on that that seal mating surface. Help it slide on a little bit easier. I'm gonna try to be gentle. I don't want any edges to fold over or crease, or whatever might occur. I think I'm actually going to pull this bearing out for right now. It's probably gonna end up on the ground anyways. All right. Okay. I probably should put more grease on that. Okay. All right, let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, I like that better. Now, I have heard in different videos you should keep note of which direction this goes. You can see here, well, actually I don't know if you can see, it's got a little bit of a shinier surface. That side goes in. I'm just going to keep it that way. It's the way it came off. Alright, now comes time for precision. Using something that I have used very few times in my life. One, because last time I used one, it was my dad's and was probably like 10 years ago. And two, never had it before. I got a kit. It was a 3-pack with inch pounds, foot pounds, and then a bigger foot pounds of the Pittsburgh torque wrenches, right off of eBay for about 55 bucks. Shipped right to my door. So we're gonna give this a shot, see what we can do with it, just try to be more proper, get things done more correctly. All right, quick trip to the auto store. Got a little adapter because apparently mine's missing. Got that 27mm and some brake parts cleaner to get these rotors cleaned up. Let's get to it. I know I'm gonna get somebody saying something about using an adapter on my socket for a torque wrench. I didn't want to spend an extra $10 to $15 on an impact socket and they didn't have a 27mm in a 3/8 drive, so this is the route we're going. All right, let's see if we can figure out how to do this. All right, that should be about 12 foot-pounds to start. We'll lock that in. All right, let's give this thing some rotation. I guess it's supposed to help it seat more. Makes sense. Probably help that grease settle in. All right, it is loosening up a little bit. It's getting easier to turn. All right, then we'll go to 30 foot-pounds. Should be it right there. All right. That feels night and day difference. Before, this thing you could just spin it and it would go. It's got a little bit of resistance, not too much. After I drive this for a day or two, I will come back in and retorque this just to make sure it's got everything that it needs. Would hate to ruin these bearings right after, you know, doing an install on them. So let's get our little safety crinkle washer deal on there. And then our cotter pin. I think my light died. Hope you guys can see all right. All right. Remember, we're doing things properly, right? All right, fully seated. Let's get this brake caliper back on here. Well, I'm skipping a step, getting ahead of myself. Hang that real quick, you know, in a proper manner. All right, so everything's done. I got both sides done. Bearings, inner, outer, races, new seals. This passenger side gave me a much harder time for some reason. The outside bearing race had like the smallest lip to be able to put the punch on and try to get it out of there. But I did end up getting it. I didn't film anything on this side. It's all the same as that side. This side was absolutely groovy. Got everything torqued, took it around the neighborhood. Everything's doing pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I did feel something loose. I got back under there and I found that this tie rod on the driver's side was a little bit loose. Not by much, but enough to let it wiggle. I got it tightened up and it was better. Overall, pretty happy. I think these bearings are gonna last a long time. And it's just one more thing that I've gotten knocked out on this truck just to bring it back around and back to, you know, some better health. Definitely needs a bath, needs a little more love. At some point I will be rebuilding the transmission. Hopefully gonna do that in the next 6 months or so. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get a kit to do that. I have a lift for it already to get it out of there. And yeah, that's Ford F-150 two-wheel drive front wheel bearings. Stick around for more videos to come, regular maintenance, overhauls. Thanks for watching.